What's up, YouTube? It's Josh Creates here with another video. In today's video, we got another video about inflation, part 23 about inflation. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Hi, can I help you?
Big Mac, fillet of fish, large fry. Chicken McNugget.
Happy meal?
Happy meal.
Happy meal?
Do you want orange soda? Orange soda.
Okay, you want sauce for the nuggets? Ketchup? Okay.
And I'll have a hamburger, small fry, and a Diet Coke.
What size Diet Coke will that be? Anything for dessert? Okay.
What?
That comes to $10.84, please. Oh, you already got it. I need a small orange
What?
and a small diet, please.
1084?
$10.84 out of $11.
Crazy how time flies.
I was just at my local grocery store, and the woman ahead of me was buying a significant amount of groceries, and the cashier even said, wow, what are you making? And she said, oh, this is just dinner for my family. This is typical. And I thought, wow, like, you must have a big family. It must be, I'm thinking in my head, this must be so hard for you to feed a large family. Right now, it's typically just my daughter and I, and I have a hard time keeping up with the cost of food. And then she went to pay, and her card declined.
Oh boy.
And I turned my back because I've had that happen to me, and it's mortifying. So I turned my back and kind of pretended I was looking at the candy, and I could feel her embarrassment and her shame. And the
Exactly.
cashier was like, don't worry about it. She's like, oh, I'm going to go talk to my husband. And I just felt so bad for that woman, because even specifically at a grocery store, it's like worse because you're trying to feed your family and your card declines. It's just, it's it's a moment you'll never forget. I've had it happen. It's pretty mortifying. I felt so bad for her, and I right now I'm home, and I still feel bad. And her bill was like, I don't know, it was like $98. And I wish I had offered to pay for it, but things are tight for me too. So I thought about it for a second, and I was like, no, you just paid for this today, and you have to pay for this tomorrow. And I'm scared to give someone $100, which is really sad. I wish so much now that I'm home. I wish I had given her that $100 and just said, I'll pay for it. But I was scared for myself and my own budget. It's just so awful right now. It's so awful. And I feel sick. I feel sick to my stomach.
Wow, that's the same thing how I feel and what I do. It's like you want to help and buy certain things for like the family, the household, whatever. You start to think like, oh, this will kind of kill me if things go like that. If I spend this amount, you don't know. You have to get selfish these days, and it's like, bro, it hurts. It hurts the heart because you're just trying to be nice and do the right thing. And the best thing you could do is just go half maybe with somebody, recalculate, and just come up with the best solution.
Why was Halloween so bad? Why was it not what it used to be? I have seen so many ridiculous explanations on TikTok, and it comes down to one thing: money. Now, I took my kids out last night, and I noticed a noticeable drop in the amount of houses participating. Probably 80% of the houses did not have lights on and were not handing out candy. And the worst explanations are some of the boomers here on TikTok saying it's the millennial generation going soft and we're not making Halloween like it used to be during their time. No, boomers, the fact is most Americans, particularly the younger generation, are clean out of money. Do they want to pay $30 for a bag of candy to some random stranger that they'll never see again, or do they want to, eat? Personal savings rates are at record lows. Most Americans ran out of savings in the month of October. Most of the credit cards that Americans took out in November of 2022 have reached their 15 to 21 month APY, and those are maxed out. So no, boomers, it's not the younger generation losing spirit for Halloween. It's the fact that our government would rather spend all of its money in wars abroad. And yes, I realize that the money is to replace American stockpiles, but think of so many other things that we could do with $100 billion. Let's go ahead and spend money on a nuclear bomb that's 24 times more powerful than the previous atomic bomb. So no, Halloween didn't suck because of generational differences. It sucked because this government and this system is more posed on taking care of countries abroad rather than its own people.
He answered you guys' question. Everybody had questions and answers about America spends our money on like Ukraine, other countries. What's that other country that's in war right now? Israel. Um, more bombs, more weapons, more war, more military equipment that we spend our money on consistently. And about the candy that I was talking about. Like, bro, like candy is ridiculous price these days now. For candy, basically drugs for kids. Remember that, guys. Don't feed your kids candy. And if you find that your kid bought candy or somehow got candy, check it out yourself. Like cut it open before you do, like before they eat it or anything. But like this guy just summed it up like all together, honestly.
Inflation is dangerous, but there's a simple solution, right? You've got to get people scared. When people are scared, they start spending less. They're not as wild with their money. And when the population is not as wild with their money, the price of goods and services come down. So how do you get people to hold back, to not spend so much? You get the stock market tank, you get people to lose jobs, you get mass layoffs, you get the market to go down, and then you get real estate prices down. When that happens, everybody cuts back on their spending. Even the threat of house prices, the market, gets people to stop spending. And when we stop spending as a collective, you don't have inflation because businesses have to lower prices in order to sell more milk. So don't be surprised if interest rates keep going up until we see a significant correction, because that's what you need to stop inflation.
Amen. Amen.
If the last 40 years repeats itself, in 2063, we'll see these prices. A new car will cost about $136,000. The average rent will be about $9,000 a month. The gas price will be about $13 a gallon. An average home will cost about $1.9 million. And the average salary will be about $100,000 a year. Now look, we can laugh about these numbers all we want because they are pretty comical. But unfortunately, we live in a clown world. And this might just happen because inflation, like all other things, unfortunately compounds. Remember back in 2008 when the world was melting and Ben Bernanke came out with these huge stimulus packages, people criticized him because they thought, oh my God, $500 billion, that's wild. $700 billion, that's insane. And then whenever the lockdowns occurred in 2020 and we printed trillions upon trillions of dollars, they said the same exact thing. They're like, oh my God, that's insane. That's so much money. Well, the next time something happens and they pivot and they print money, how much do you think it's going to be? It's not going to be single digit trillion. It's going to be tens of trillions of dollars. AOC already said she wants to implement a $90 trillion spending initiative on climate. That should give you an idea of how much we are going to inflate this currency away over the course of time. Not only that, but our world is just getting harder. Gas prices are going to go up because, simply put, there's not going to be enough gas. Saudi Arabia is already reducing the amount of gas it's selling. Russia has cut off exports entirely. In the US, well, we just don't want to frack for shit here, which is a shame because we really could and our gas would be a lot cheaper. And unfortunately, gas goes into every one of these other things. It goes into how much your car costs. It goes into how much the rent is because you need gas for a lot of things that build a fucking house, or at least go in the house. So you see where this is going. If you don't start making and investing money now, you're never gonna get rich. And I'm saying this in a position of absolute fear. I am fearful every day that I'm not gonna make enough because quite frankly, we don't know how much it's gonna take. It might take an ungodly number that none of us are gonna be able to reach. And if that's the case, so be it. But we gotta try because there's no nobility in throwing in the towel. And I am not trying to be caught in this slavery mess.
Wow. It started lagging at the end, but he was speaking so much facts. And honestly, that's crazy. The future, I always tell myself this, dog. The future, you want the future to be bright for you and your family and basically for yourself in general. But for everyone else in like the whole world, it's not looking like that. It's really not looking bright, dog. And this guy just gave us like a breakdown on how it won't be bright in the future. Literally.
At this point, I think we might be living at our in-laws' house until, we get old and gray, because the housing market is absolutely ridiculous. It's so sad because back in the day, you're able to just go to school, get a good job, get married, be able to buy a house, start a family, and possibly be able to stay part-time at home even with the children to help raise them. Now it's like, no, you get married, where are you living? Maybe we're going to live in a shoebox, maybe we're going to be homeless living on the street, because why is a one-bedroom, one-bath like $800,000? Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around how things are going right now, because it's like, it's pretty hopeless for this generation, for us that are trying to start our lives and get a place. It's like, rent is absolutely insane. You can't save any money to be able to buy a place. They don't want us to own anything, and they literally want to like destroy your dreams of starting a life. It's just so embarrassing.
Let me tell you something. When I be complaining about food prices and y'all motherfuckers be like, ain't you rich? Why you complaining about lettuce? Why you complaining about this? That just goes to show me when you become successful, when you have money, you're gonna go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. I get a summary of the money that's being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see that like groceries is like tripling up, it's like, hey, yo, what the fuck is going on? I want to see for myself what the fuck shit is being spent on. And like when I go to the fucking supermarket, like I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was like $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's like fucking $7. Of course, I'm gonna say something.
Inflation is so high right now, people are going to be buying less things, which eventually is going to bleed into corporate earnings, and then earnings are going to have lower revenues, lower EPS, which will then draw down the price of the stock market. Now, how the Fed is trying to fix this is by raising interest rates to then lower the inflation. The problem is, if it's high inflation, things are too expensive, people can't afford it. If you raise the interest rates, people can't borrow money because the interest rates are too high. They can't afford it, and it makes it harder for them to spend. So no matter what, no matter how you spin it, no matter what the Fed does in the situation that they're in, there's going to be less consumer spending, which eventually bleeds into corporate earnings, which will eventually be released and then cause a dramatic collapse in the stock market and push us into a recession.
Ooh, that's gonna be crazy. That will be so
Never,
crazy.
never, never, never meaning no, never, never, never lie. Never, 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 never meaning no, never, 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 never meaning no, never, seven, never meaning tonight.
That's what it's all about,
Never,
bro.
never.
So I went to buy chlorine today, and you used to be able to get 2 gallons in a box for like $4 something. It's now $17 for 2 gallons of chlorine. Catch me swimming in my swamp, guys, because I have no clue how the hell people are going to afford this.
Y'all, I think I've reached my breaking point with this whole inflation nonsense that everyone is going through. You see this picture? These handful of items that I bought today at Whole Foods? What do you think this cost me? 50, 60, 70, maybe like pushing it, let's say 80? All this was $120. And I go, okay, it's Sunday, let's stock up on a few things for the week. Just based on budget alone, I'm gonna have to make this last like 10 days. And all I got was 2 bottles of water, 2 tomatoes, a steak, that was a little pricey, but whatever, I don't get it that often. Some burrata, a sushi roll, some ice cream, pesto, 2 avocados, bacon, and then these like crispy bars that I eat in the morning for breakfast. Feel free to pause and look over the receipt if you really care that much. I am by no means asking for anyone's opinion on my budgeting or spending habits, what I buy, where I shop from. This is more just a comment on my shock and, I guess, like, frustration about the state of finances in this country and what circumstances and policies have led to this happening. Again, this is not a political commentary. Keep your opinions to yourselves. But my god, it just feels so fucking hard to, like, get ahead and do anything financially.
Well, that is it for this video, but she has to be honest with herself. You did go to Whole Foods, and Whole Foods is already expensive. Plus inflation. Expect that you're gonna buy a little bit amount of stuff, and it's gonna be a bunch of money. So expect that, woman. But anyways, that's it for this video. That's another video of TikTok vents about inflation. I actually like this one, especially the guy that was saying, explaining how the solution to inflation, and the other guy talking about In the future, like 40 years from now, 2063, gas prices will go up. Home prices, this, that, the next will go up. You could go back and watch if you want. Those are like my two favorite videos in this compilation. But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. Road to 1,000 subscribers. My name is Josh Creates. I'm out.